Today we're here to talk about the tuning and the rigging of the Manic HD and IQ wave sails from GA. First of all, I recommend using either 100% or 90% RDM mast when rigging these sails, just because the lower percentage of carbon that you use in your mast, then the performance of the sail can be affected. First thing you want to do when you're rigging your sail is you want to select a correct place for rigging. So you don't want to have any hidden obstacles, anything that could damage your sail. So select a nice grassy area. The next thing I like to do is I like to check the settings on the sail. These can also be found on the sail bag. So then I can check, set, and make sure I have the right equipment ready to rig the sail. So I will adjust the boom first and adjust the extension to the recommended settings, and then unroll the sail to rig it. When I'm rigging the sail, the first thing I do is put the mast together. So I want to make sure that the connection between the two pieces is clean, and then I put them together. And then next I'm going to unroll the sail, and then I'm going to thread the mast using as little force as possible when threading the mast up the sail. Once the sail is reached the top and is in position in the top of the sail, I want to check the head cap to make sure that the mast is fitting firmly into the top of the sail cap. Since I've already adjusted the extension, I'm now going to put that into the bottom of the mast, again making sure that this area of the mast is clean, and so when it comes to the rigging, the sail will not be, the mast extension will not be stuck in the bottom of this mast. Next, I'm going to pull the downhaul. I pull about 80% or just a nice hard tug on the sail to set the downhaul. Next, I'm going to take the boom and I'm going to put it onto the middle of the boom cutout because I can adjust the boom height later. Then I go around to the outhaul and I'm going to pull the outhaul. Because I've set the boom to what the recommendations are, I'm going to pull the sail, the outhaul, as much as I can so it's at full tension. Once the boom is on, I'm going to go back to the downhaul and I'm going to pull the rest of the downhaul on. Now, I don't want to pull too much downhaul, so I go again on the recommendations, but if the sail is looking too flat and the leach is too open, then I'm going to back off the downhaul a little bit. And if the sail still looks tight in the leach, then I'm going to pull a little bit more. Once I am happy with this, I'm going to then take the excess rope, tie it around the extension once or twice, and then put the excess rope in the pocket at the bottom of the sail. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the batten tension. I want to take all the wrinkles out of the sail so the sail looks really nice. In general, I like to put more tension on the lower battens because this has the more shape in the sail, and then the top half of the sail I might allow a couple of wrinkles in because I don't want to over tension this area. Now your sail is ready to go on the water, I can make the final tuning and adjustments to it. So when it comes to tuning my sail, first of all I look at the downhaul. I want to make sure that the leach of the sail is nice and evenly twisted and there is still some shape. I don't want it too much downhaul that the sail becomes flat and then it loses power. If you have too much tension in the sail, then the sail can feel twitchy and have a lack of power in the backhand, and also it can feel a little bit uncontrollable when overpowered. Adjusting the outhaul is very important. I tend to use this more than I do when I adjust the downhaul. So once I'm happy with a medium amount of downhaul and the sail is looking nice, I will just stick to tuning with the outhaul. I'll put more outhaul on the sail when I am overpowered, and then if I'm looking for a bit more power, I will let the sail take off a bit of the outhaul. Usually I like to set the sail so it's just off touching the boom when it's fully powered and I'm sailing along. Boom height in wave sails is a very individual thing, but general rule of thumb you can use is a higher boom when the winds are lighter and you're looking to get a bit more power, and when the winds are stronger, then using a lower boom helps keep control. Also, on the outhaul, we have two eyelets on our wave sails. In general, I'm using the higher eyelet for lighter and lighter conditions when I'm looking to get a bit more power from the sail, and I'm using the lower eyelet for when it is overpowered and stormy conditions. The final thing I do for tuning is again adjusting the batting tension. Sometimes this can they can lose their tension when sailing. So every time before I go sail, I just quickly check if I'm happy with the tension, and then I'm ready to go.